I'm going to talk to you today about your relocation to Tokyo. In Japan, there are 125 million people, with 13 million of them living in Tokyo. The currency is the yen, and as of the first part of November, it is 145 to $1 US. While the exchange rate is in favor of the United States or US dollar, the cost of living is about 2% more than it is on average in the United States. For the government, they just had an election not too long ago, and it is a parliamentary monarchy democracy. And as of 2021, they had 9 different political parties. For your benefits, after 6 months, you will receive 10 paid vacation days, and it will go up according to your tenure, not to exceed 20 paid days per year. The health plan is a national health plan, and it is funded by taxes through the employers. There is a 30% deductible, so keep that in mind for any visits and procedures. The U.S. and Japan have a tax treaty in place, so make sure you work with an accountant if you're unsure how to navigate that so that you are not taxed doubly. There is a visa requirement for you to stay longer than 90 days, so please work with HR to make sure that you get everything in place before you take off to Tokyo. On top of everything, there are some cultural things that you need to keep in mind. Hofstede's Cultural Dimensions is a wonderful website that can help you navigate the differences and the similarities. Power distances, how hierarchy is in place between the different levels. The difference between the United States and Japan is they believe everyone is born equal, and as long as you work up to that and you receive merit, then you will have your hierarchy according to that. For individualism, that is individual versus a group, and the United States is substantially higher in this department, whereas Japan is a collectivistic country, so it is focused around the group, the company, or the extended family. Japan is a very masculine country. They're very competitive, and the difference between the United States and Japan is the group competitiveness versus the individual competitiveness. Japan is very focused on uncertainty avoidance, so they will put a lot of effort into researching and mitigating any kind of risk. They're very long-term oriented. They're not focused on short-term gains, so they keep in mind future generations. When it comes to indulgence, they are less likely to be indulgent compared to the United States, so leisure is not as high of a priority for them. Some HR things to keep in mind are organizational effectiveness and development, employee engagement, and retention. And how the United States and Japan differ is in Japan, they are very, very focused on working with the group and making sure that there is a group consensus. There is not one person makes all of the decisions. They're highly engaged, and they will work together and discuss risks, plans, and they will plan and plan and plan until everybody agrees that it is time to execute the plan. The upside is there is high retention there, and so it's important to make sure that the company is treating them well. Some tailwinds, some things that have helped business in general. Due to COVID-19, there was a lot of pent-up demand for consumer goods, and so a lot of businesses are seeing an uptick on that. As far as in the technology sector, there is a high demand, so about a 75% increase in technology around golf, and that includes ball tracers, virtual lessons, virtual driving ranges. Some headwinds, some things that are going to kind of slow things down. They're very similar to the United States. There is a commodity shortage, and there's also a fuel issue, and Russia has threatened to take away their supply. For technology specifically, some critical things have happened. There were 2 satellites and 2 rockets that failed recently. So the Japanese government is looking at some new regulations around that. So that is something to kind of watch and keep in mind. For HR, Japan is a country that is having a decrease in the workforce just due to an aging population, and so a lot of businesses, in order to thrive, are having to extend out to other countries to bring them in to help out. For tech, one ethical issue to keep in mind is anything revolving around artificial intelligence. The Japanese are very pro artificial intelligence because they understand, for the greater good, how well it may help them. And in the United States, that is something that makes everybody very skeptical. Some of the top 3 tech companies are ASEAN, which is a company that is famous for Toyota, and some of their tech stuff that they are currently working on is a sensor that senses the slightest movement in your car. So if you left a baby in the car, it will alert those outside of the car to that there is a baby in the car. For Bandai, they are known for Pac-Man and a variety of toys and games. Konami is known for the old school Frogger game and for Dance Dance Revolution. So in order to make things work, it is important to really put a focus on learning the culture and how to navigate them. And Lee and Anita have several steps in place, and these are outlined in the bigger leadership pamphlet that I will distribute later. And some of them are talking to your coworkers that are from that country about their culture and things, their traditions. Another thing is to consult websites. They're focused around biculturalism. And the other thing is we will be setting up some focus groups so that you can talk about these things. And there's a few other steps that are involved, but it's important to make sure that no matter how much you study, that you put it into place. So one of the case studies that we are going to put together is that we want you to talk about, and we'll pause for a moment so that you can talk about it. And the case study is we need to train 10 managers to go over and set up the workforce in Tokyo. So what I want you to talk about is how would you set up or propose a training plan for these leaders, specifically around culture. And I will pause for a moment while you talk about that. All right, welcome back. So leadership-wise, like I said, Japan is a very collectivistic country. They're very team-oriented. So what does that mean leadership-wise? That means that you need to work together to make sure that everybody is on board, that there is no inhibitions or worries about the project. You need to do the research. Everybody needs to do the research ahead of time. So plan, plan, plan. A little bit about the vision statement for HR, and I'm just going to read this. It is, as the HR department for Global Tech, We are committed to providing quality HR services to the company and its employees. All employees from around the world are essential to us. We will show our commitment by providing culturally informed training to employees sent abroad and from other countries to the United States. We believe in recruiting and promoting a diverse and inclusive workforce and providing a safe environment for all individuals. We believe in working together to provide the best recruits and leadership for the respective culture, regardless of location. So taking that in mind, along with what you know about the leadership for Japan, I want you to think about what is a good leader in Japan. And a good leader is somebody that is responsible for the morale. It works as a mentor and facilitator. They work together so that the group comes up with a solution. Be prepared to model acceptable behavior and to show your dedication to the company. It will go a long ways. So keeping all that in mind, I want you to discuss each of the following. A manager is sent from the United States to Japan, and they see that something needs to be changed immediately in a system and they do it without consulting anyone. Okay, so the second one is a manager from Japan is sent to the U.S. and is assigned to complete a task in 2 months. The manager has been in meetings with the team for 4 weeks and has not started the project. Number 3, a U.S. manager in Japan is tired of working long hours and skips the after-work social hour. Number 4, a manager from Japan is in the United States, does not respond directly to the employees about their questions. And number 5, a U.S. manager in Japan does not like how management cannot make decisions without consulting the team and is overly critical of the company and its upper management. So take time and discuss each one of them and what is considered good leader versus bad leader in each of those countries. So down to the fun stuff. Housing. Japanese are very skeptical about renting to foreigners in general. So there are some companies in place that can help you navigate that. These were the top 2 that came up, and I recommend you look at each one of them. For activities, there's lots of activities for families. Disney Tokyo is famous. There is an expo, and that's a good opportunity to meet people that are in a similar situation. And a fun fair thing it's called Next Generation World Hobby, and it's a very bright and colorful festival. I have included several links here for your reference, so you can kind of see some different activities that are around the area, some recommendations and that kind of thing. My favorite link is it's called Show Them the Globe blog, and it's the best things according to them of what to do in Tokyo. And I like it because there are links to the websites and links for the tickets. Just keep in mind, Tokyo is a very big place and very popular things do sell out early, so you'll want to plan ahead with your tickets. For schools, there's the website Real Estate Guide for Tokyo has things outlined according to neighborhood and language spoken. And there's a little bit more in-depth information on that. And so feel free to consult that. There might be some other websites available with that information, but I found that this was the most comprehensive. So thank you for your time, and I hope that your transition to Tokyo is successful. Thank you.